거예요.
은가왕 씨가 그렇게 자기 생각만 하진 않을 거예요. 방을 빌려주세요. 안 되겠어요?
그분한테 먼저 이야기하세요. 우리는 함께 살아야 하잖아요.
그들의 입에서 우린 함께 살아야 하잖아요 라는 이야기가 나왔을 때 나는 더 많은 것을 생각하게 되었다. 라다크 사람들에게 있어 최우선이 되는 문제는 공존이라는 것을 깨닫게 되었기 때문이다. 그들에게는 이웃들과 좋은 관계를 유지하는 것이 돈을 버는 것보다 더 중요한 것이었다.
So one time when we had made some windows for a solar installation in a house, and they got delivered to the wrong house, and that man used the windows, which was very unfair. They weren't made for his house. When I said to the man who should have had the windows that he should complain, he said, no, we have to live together. It's better that we just forget about it. Yeah, I think maybe the most impressive thing I found was that they were very easygoing about everything. They were very willing to accept change, whether it was that the weather changed and so they couldn't go to the next village, which they had planned to do. For a Westerner, that would require a sort of adjustment and people would get a bit annoyed and frustrated. But the Ladakhis just seemed to be very flexible and very tolerant of change in the environment and also change in other people. And it seemed to come from feeling very confident and deeply at ease with who they were, and that allowed them to be very tolerant of other people and of changes around them. I think that was the most striking quality.
라다크에 오래 머물면서 나는 그 규모라는 것의 중요성에 대해 깨닫게 되었다. 처음에는 라다크 사람들이 항상 웃고 화를 내거나 스트레스를 받는 일이 거의 없다는 사실을 그들의 가치관이나 종교와 연결시켜 설명하려고 했다. 물론 일정 정도 분명 그런 면이 있다. 가치관과 종교가 라다크 사람들의 생활에 아주 중요한 역할을 하는 것은 분명하다. 그러나 시간이 흐를수록 나는 그들의 사회를 구성하는 외형상의 구조, 특히 공동체의 규모 같은 것 또한 대단히 중요한 역할을 한다는 것을 알게 되었다. 그것은 라다크 주민 한 사람 한 사람에게 깊은 영향을 미치면서 그 사람의 신념과 가치관을 강화시켰다.
And they helped each other, particularly at the time of birth, marriage, and funeral, when there were big celebrations, hundreds of people coming, and a lot of food to prepare and drink, and they also had other relationships where they would share labor with animals and harvest, and I think what I've discovered is that when you do a lot of work like harvesting or building something, when you do it with other people, it's much more enjoyable than when you do it alone. And so I think it's something that we need to learn from. Yes, I think after many years of studying this, I realized that the economy was of such a scale, the size was such that you could see that if you helped your neighbor, you could count on their help. So it was very obvious that what was good for you was also good for your neighbor, because in turn they would help you. Well, it affected me a lot because my worldview and my values, everything changed because of Ladakh. And it's been a great gift and a great privilege in that it's made me convinced that the problems we face today, the environmental problems and most of the social problems, are not because of innate human greed, but because of an economic system, a model of progress and development that works against us.
처음 나는 라다크 사람들이 보이는 것처럼 그렇게 행복할 수 있다는 것을 믿을 수 없었다. 그들의 미소가 진짜라는 것을 받아들이기까지는 오랜 시간이 걸렸다. 그런데 라다크에 온 지 2년째 되던 해 나는 어느 결혼식장에 참석하여 뒷자리에 앉아 즐거워하는 하객들을 바라보고 있었다. 그 순간 나도 모르게 아, 저 사람들은 정말 저렇게 행복하구나 라는 말이 나왔다. 내가 그동안 문화적 편견이라는 눈가리개를 쓰고 라다크 사람들이 보이는 것처럼 행복한 건 아닐 거라는 생각을 하며 돌아다녔다는 것을 깨달았던 것은 바로 그 순간이었다.
In the beginning, I didn't think so much about the fact that they were so happy, but I think it was partly when some Ladakis started becoming less happy that I became aware how happy they were traditionally. And seeing that change was very upsetting, to see that change. But it made me also realize that it can be changed back again. And I think I also got an understanding of how it can change back again. And so that's why I've been working very hard, both in Ladakh and in the outside world, to try to raise awareness about what it is that makes people happy. For instance, that every mother had in the house about 10 helpers to look after every baby. So when a baby cried, when a baby was ill, there were 10 other people to carry the baby. So the baby was carried all the time, and by people who didn't get impatient, who didn't get tired. So that baby had a sense of being loved and cared for in a very deep way, and in a very natural way.